Hello, this is Eric Gates, Director of Federal Programs for the Laurel Highlands School District. I just wanted to go ahead and give you a quick tour of the PDE SAS website, the Standards Aligned System website by the Pennsylvania Department of Education. And I wanted to go over the updates and give you a brief tour of the new setup if you haven't been on in a while. So the first thing that pops up on the main page, it talks about career readiness for Pennsylvania students, and this is part of the new ranking system for state schools, similar to the SPP. And there's a focus on career readiness. And some of the resources they have, I went through and I clicked the links and downloaded the resources. And some of the resources they have listed here that you could look at implementing into your classroom include information from the Federal Reserve Bank of Philly, the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, EverFi, which that information is already posted on the website, and Mr. Miller has more information about EverFi. SimCoach Games, along with the Consortium for Public Education, we work with both organizations in developing games and activities through apps. And we were able to review apps that were created by SimCoach Games and give immediate feedback. There's also information from PBS Kids as well as Mr. Rogers' YouTube videos, which are obviously perfect for classrooms in primary, elementary. Also, there are student engagement activities. So the student engagement activities, there's going to be a portfolio of evidence that needs to be established for each student, and it needs to contain meaningful activities more than just attending a job fair. So some ideas that are listed on this handout include junior achievement. We do not have an FFA, but that would be something that would be interesting to bring to Laurel Highlands. Future Business Leaders of America, Energy Safe Kids are some examples of some programs that you can connect to and implement in your classroom. So going back to the main page, it's important that you log into your SAS Tool account. If you don't have a login, please create one. It's free, obviously, but if you have the account, you'll have access to more information and resources. If you just go onto the site without logging in, you won't have that same access. So down below or up top, at the top of the page, you have the separate sections of the portal. You have the standards, assessments, curriculum framework, instruction, materials and resource, safe and supportive schools. Underneath standards, to show you what's going on in standards, as you can see, the bigger button format, which is pretty cool, makes it easier to navigate. And you can search the standards individually, you can view all standards, you can do the vertical viewer, which I like the vertical viewer because you can see the content that is covered the year prior and the year after where you are at. So teaching 5th grade, I could see the 4th grade standards, I could see the 6th grade standards and what's covered all in one document. And to give you a sample of that, I'm going to select 5th grade, I'm going to select subject area, and I'll start off with, let's go to geometry. So it shows my 5th grade in the middle. It has the geometry standard A1, and then it has what's covered in grade 4. So what they should know coming into my grade level and where they're heading after my grade level. So it's important to know both of those areas. And you'll see that some were left intentionally blank because recognizing symmetric shapes and draw lines of symmetry, that's taught in 4th grade. That doesn't fall into the 5th or 6th grade curriculum. So you can see through here that a lot of it's left intentionally blank because there aren't those pieces, those components. So that's the vertical viewer. So again, if you wanted to just look at the standards for your grade level only, You can either view standards or you can search the standards. We'll go to view standards, and again, it's just simply drilling down to what you're looking for. 5th grade. Let's check math. And then I have my standards. So the nice thing about this portion of the SAS portal is that I have my grade level standards. I have my eligible content. By clicking on it, it opens it up. And then I can drill down even further and look at creating assessments based off of that eligible content. So by clicking assessments, it will take me to the assessment portal, and I can look at questions that match the assessment anchor. And I can build my own assessment. So let's say that I think this is a good question that'll help with this standard. So I'm going to add it to my assessment, and as you can see, it drops into my item in my assessment box, and then I can view my assessment. And eventually, when I can move questions up and down. Maybe I want to put my open-ended responses at the end. I find some open-ended responses. I can push them down to the end, or I can move my DOK, my earlier DOK level questions up to the front, kind of leading into my DOK questions, my higher DOK questions in the back. There's a teacher version, then an answer key that you'd be able to print out as well. So you can build that assessment. So underneath, so while we talk about assessments, we'll transition into the assessment tab. And again, you can build those assessments as I showed you earlier. You save your assessments. The nice thing about the SAS portal now is that you have unlimited storage space. Similar to Google, you can store your assessments, and you can store documents actually on your SAS portal if you so choose. You have project-based assessments. And to learn more information, there's training materials, presentations, even information for your parents about project-based assessments. You have the CDT information as well, parent resources with regards to CDT, skills pamphlet, metacognition templates, having students know or think about their thinking is metacognition, and there are templates to increase that metacognition, and increasing metacognition in students and having them think about how they're thinking leads to them being more successful in class, which increases their self-efficacy and their self-esteem, and their self-worth increases as well. So some interesting information to check out under the CDT tab. And then you have your analyzing root cause PVAS information. The Octal standards for pre-K to 3 are here as well. The assessment library, information on keystones. Curriculum framework. This contains some information drilling down into curriculum maps and looking at the overlays and the frameworks of the standards of the curriculum. This gives you the big ideas, the concepts, the competencies, the essential questions, which is nice because you can really get an all-inclusive look of what should be covered in your grade level. So you click on mathematics again. I'm going to go take a look at the framework for grade 5. And I have the big ideas that I should be covering, the essential questions, the concepts, the competencies, even the vocabulary that I should be using in my instruction, because this is the same vocabulary that they're going to be assessed on the examinations, on the PSSAs. So that's common vocabulary that you should be using throughout your instruction and having them learn and have knowledge of. But I really like the essential questions and the big ideas to help you guide your planning, and your lesson should be focused on that essential question Are they going to be able to answer that question and demonstrate mastery of that, of finding a way, finding the procedures, identifying the procedures, identifying the outcome, and what worked, what didn't work, to show mastery of the content. We'll head over into the instruction tab, and this is where you'll find instructional toolkits, information on Teacher of the Year, Pennsylvania Learns and iTunes, so podcasts that you can download and listen to if you have a long drive like I do. Teacher effectiveness, so obviously Charlotte Danielson, learning about the domains and the different sections of the Danielson model. It's nice to go over and review, especially after you've went through the evaluation process. You really want to learn to live in that distinguished zone. So what do you need to do to get there? This provides a lot of information to help you reach that goal that you may have. Materials and resources. So there are lots of lessons that have been vetted by the state, by PDE, and have been placed on the SAS portal. And there's a plethora of information. They've really done a great job of updating this information. I didn't mean to click on my lessons. Those are my lessons that I uploaded to the portal. But if I wanted to search materials and resources, just some of the resources, some of the areas that they've received, they build these lessons: BrainPop, the British Library, Congressional Medal of Honor Foundation, so on and so forth. So these are some pretty high quality resources from well-established sources. So, highly recommend you take some time to go through there, see if there's something, if you're in a class, you're reflecting on your lesson, you can't reach those kids, there's a reason why you can't reach those kids, you got to try something different. Check out the SAS portal. See if there's something in here that you can pull that you could utilize. And then finally, safe and supportive school systems. This is basically an overview of safe and supportive schools, engagement, safety, and environment, how you can build upon those 3 levels to create that safe and supportive school. So this is something that's good for not only you as a teacher or as an administrator, but also for your parents, your PTOs, to share that information. Because if you're not sharing your vision with all stakeholders, you're not going to reach that vision. You're not going to have full buy-in, and it's going to be difficult to show any growth with your students and with your community. So that's a brief tour of the SAS portal. If you have any further questions, please don't hesitate contacting my office or emailing me, eric.gatus@lhsd.org. Thank you very much.